hide the dark. And two, I wasn't making money. So I could
look at these moves, though, kid.
Money. And I manipulated things to buy my time, to buy myself time. And in reality, George, I bought myself about 10 or 11 months, and then it all ended anyway. And then eventually, the time went out. And
nice to come around. What's good, motherfucker?
I would say the combination between the FDIC, the state of Missouri, and the accountant, because what I had done was very complicated. And
what up, baby?
When you get indicted, I initially indicted with 10 things. And as my lawyer said, they're all the same things. It's about 10 different ways. It's hard to beat them. And everything was for itself. Your house was in foreclosure. Everything. My house was in foreclosure. I had dozens and dozens of real estate properties with partners, and we just now we're paying a real estate lawyer and some manufacturing companies with a guy, and we've done very well. I wheeled a company called at one time, and we sold Beechwood in Hydro-Bush, and then we sold it away to Beechwood, and when ABM then brought them, we didn't fare well. And those companies, as the economy slowed down, the plastic business went away. I didn't have one thing to hang my hat on, and I failed, and I didn't want to miss failure. You had a friend, we won't mention any names, who kind of basically screwed you up too, did he? Oh, good. He did. He was a very good friend, and over the years, and when I first was introduced to him by his brother, and this is kind of where the grade choice comes from, for a lot of reasons, but this one primary, his brother was 50% black and 50% white. Very much like the gentleman that we both expected, but that's not the world. The world is gray, and when I was a management training the first day, I went in, and about a 3-week into it, they shipped us into a room with a whole bunch of young executives to be, and we took a test. And the first question was, have you sold anything in this company? And I answered no. And very quickly, the instructor and I had a conversation, and he stopped everyone and said, you have to answer question 1 yes. Now, who would do that? I wouldn't have done that. Okay, I would answer no. And then here's what he said, and he was right. He said, at some point, you're going to take a pen, a pad of paper, and now then think of the people who shop online. Forget Black Monday, just every day of the week when they're being paid by the hour. And the people who talk on their, when you go into a fast food restaurant, if you can get in, which most of them are drive-through only anymore, the people are on cell phones behind the counter. And they're really nice. Or they got the ear thing in, and I think they're talking to me, and they're talking to their girlfriend or boyfriend. Right. Yeah, so his brother said, he goes, now my brother is very smart, he was right. He said, Tony, he lives in a world that is almost all gray. And I think before I took the time, I decided he was 1% black and 1% white and 98% is gray in varying shades. So we all talking about race. No, nothing just right now. And so as you slowly cross that line, and it's like I use the analogy of you leave a plane in LA going for DC and you're off 1 degree, more time, even distance, you end up in New York. And that's what happened to me.
That's great alien, George.
A little bit in gray and a little bit in gray.
Yeah, a little bit of fucking, I don't know. It was
2009 when everything was
last year, motherfucker. I think it's grandfather was fucking white, and the grandmother was black, and then a bunch of fucking gray aliens in the middle. So that's how we got the 1% black, 1% white, 98% white.
Recollections of the past? No. You shook your head. Why did I do this? I did that for years. I didn't know because
I always want to be another.
Before.
No.
That most people don't know. You're a white collar criminal.
You know it's gonna get big, dog.
No. Literally, you set it up and you say Rio for the fight every day because it's not the county prisoners or state prisoners and their federal prisoners being held. And if I went through that process when I got to the federal prison system, I was virtually the only person ever been handcuffed. I never went to court, George, but I was handcuffed and shackled. We're going to come back to Fox One with the final hour of phone calls for you. John Hayes, the book is called The Great Choice. Now you can get show updates and connect with other Coast fans when you join the
out of here. Get out of there. Help the other. Okay. No, this is good. Good.
How much do you think your home is worth this year? Do you think it's going to be worth the same next year? If you're thinking about borrowing on your home equity, your odds of getting more out of your home is probably higher now than it will be next year. I certainly believe that. Some experts predict that property values might decline over the next few years, making it more challenging for borrowers to tap into that home equity. If you need $75,000 or more, HMS Capital can help you borrow the money you need with the equity you built. So whether you want to consolidate debt, make home improvements, or whatever your situation may be, HMS Capital will have the best solution to help you. No appraisal, credit
wingding. Oh, it's fucking wingding.
HMS Capital, clearly I'm a fan. I believe they are simply the best.
Fucking wingding. Call typing wingding.
255-5698, 833-5698. Visit hmscapital.com. With the awards, drinking fun, and Valentine's Day, I think that makes Morongo the ghost of good times. Now, this top reason to visit the winner. We have Sonic Space Cleaner when you're on top of the place on your report card for 13 to 14. Number 2, Big Game Blowout. You can win played in cash, playing with your report cards during the game. And the number 1 reason, Big Game Blitz. The big game is amazing for us on Drink Special. Morongo, good time. Live from Radio Row, it's Super Bowl week, and there's no better way to stay up to speed than with the Around the NFL podcast. Join me, Dan Hansis, and my buds, Mark Steffler and Greg Rosenthal for the latest football news with just a touch of mirth. We've got the number 1 football podcast in the world, and Rihanna is playing the Apple Music halftime show. It doesn't get much better than that, guys. Hang out with us live from Glendale, Arizona, all week long. Listen to Around the NFL. Dude, on the iHeartRadio app or wherever.
What are you going to do about it? I don't know.
Perfect for 18 of mine.
Hang out in Arkansas, but a whole week
Los Angeles, Orange County, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The record has been broken. I'm Bree Tennis in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. LeBron James is now the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. Daniel Martindale has more. He needed 36 points to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and finish with 38 in Tuesday night's loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder. LeBron James now has 38,390 points in his 20-year career. He broke the record on a jump shot late in the third quarter, then was greeted by his teammates, family, and Kareem himself in a ceremony at Center Court in Los Angeles. The record has stood since 1984. U.S. search and rescue teams will arrive in Turkey today. 81 L.A. firefighters and paramedics, along with 6 search dogs, will assist in the effort. They're still calling it a search and rescue mission, but the death toll hasn't passed 9,000, making this the deadliest seismic event in a decade. The president addressed the nation in his second State of the Union address. He hit on several key issues, including the economy, the Ukraine war, reproductive rights, and police reform. Because the soul of this nation is strong. Because the backbone of this nation is strong. Because the people of this nation is strong. The State of the Union is strong. Ventura County Fairgrounds will open today for people looking to apply for disaster assistance relief from last month's rainstorm. The operations will run from noon to 7 p.m. 7 days a week. Zoom is set to lay off 1,300 employees. They saw a huge boom in business during the pandemic when a lot of the workforce did their jobs from home. Now that we're back to the office, they need fewer people on staff. And the Church of England is looking into using gender-neutral terms for God. Priests are looking for a more inclusive pronoun. A spokesperson for the church said that while God is neither male nor female, there are no plans to abolish or substantially revise current language. Southline weather from KFI. You can expect mostly sunny skies. Highs around 70. Right now it's 51 in Laguna Hills. Orange has 52. It's 50 in Norwalk and 49 in Newhall. We read local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Bree Tennis. In Falcon Valley, there is a full freeway closure, 405 north south of Surface to Warner Avenue. All lanes are going to be checked out for road work until 5. And in Virginia, we have good news. Earlier tracks on the Woodhead southbound at El Segundo Boulevard has been cleared from lanes. Your drive is recovering in that area. Long Beach, there is a work zone. Don't head northbound from Long Beach Boulevard to the 91. 2 right lanes are going to be checked out for road work until 5. Expect delays in that area. KFI Hi, this guy. I'll get you there faster. I'm Brian Van. Before I started Rooter Hero Plumbing, I was an angry young man. Hello, I'm John Coyan, founder of Rooter Hero Plumbing. I was angry because my dad died when I was 17 and he left me alone. I was angry because I couldn't go to college with my friends and because I had to drop out of high school. It's not a pleasant story. But as I grew older, I also grew up. I realized that my dad didn't leave me alone. He left me with values and principles that continue to shape my life. Dad said be on time. He didn't like it when people were late. He taught me to be polite. It was something I lost, but we kept it along the way. And he taught me to keep my promises, because broken promises lead to broken relationships. We keep these values at Rooter Hero Plumbing. I think we have a pretty good company. I know we have great people. And if one of our heroes fails to live up to these values, please call me. My private number is on the back of every Rooter Hero business card. You can also reach us at rooterhero.com. Thank you. If you're looking to get out of your house, doesn't matter why you're moving, or maybe you've inherited a home, and now what do you do with it? Usually you go to a real estate agent, 6%, and you're told to clean and paint and repair, and buyers are going to walk through, the house has to be pristine. If you don't live there, you don't even get that. How about getting a fair price for your home without any of that hassle? DirectBuyers.com will do exactly that. DirectBuyers.com, a local family-owned business, Janet and Matt, brother and sister. I love the way they do business. Now, there are a lot of schmucks out there in this business. I'm going to suggest you call to DirectBuyers.com. They'll never lowball you. They'll give you an honest, no-obligation offer, even a $15,000 cash advance before closing. Go to directbuyers.com, call 844-242-SELL, 844-242-SELL, directbuyers.com. Is that T-Cash? If you've been interested in an accident, call I Answer the Word today. One ring could be good. 800-920-0810. Keep your hearing to yourself. It's only a hearing. I don't know if you know how big batteries work. That's crazy. No, that's not what Steve Gregory told you. He said it's a crime scene and that's like blood spatter. Well, he needs to do a better job of tweaking his eyes when he walks in. He can see the fine details. You know what he said? The hotel room in the daylight, people look too close to it. Live 9 on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. I know people clutch their pearls when you throw any state at the sanctity of elections like business. Votes get lost. Votes don't get counted. Votes appear out of nowhere. We like to assume that elections are this absolutely pristine run mechanism. The idea that there wouldn't be problems is betting on a miracle. Live 9 to 1 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. The people in prison committed the crime, period. And that's all that matters. Their color, their ethnicity doesn't matter. They committed the crime. And gangs are in the business of crime. Done again, they don't do anything else but commit crimes all day. Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. This is Jacob Armani. If you've been in an accident, call 844-24-JACOB. KFI, AM 640. Your stimulating talk. Every time you play the bell, you feel damn good. Walking out into you, yeah. A damn is bad. Only if you will say, ain't quicker than they thought. Just turn your back and fall. You always live, all you ever do wrong. Make you fail, never waiting too long. No one call it line is 818-501-4721. To talk toll free for the east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll free, call 800-618-8255. To reach George via Skype, use Skype name George97313. Send George a text message anytime at 818-298-6521. This is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Well, this hour we'll take your calls with John Hayes. His book is called The Great Choice. He's turning his life around, and his website is linked up at coasttocoastam.com. Identity theft can be a huge disruption to your life. Recovering from it quickly depends on a couple things: the type of identity theft and acting quickly and diligently to resolve the issue. Fraudulent credit card charges might take 2 days to resolve, whereas some taking out loans or applying for jobs or apartments in your name could take weeks or months to resolve. So important to understand how cybercrime and identity theft affect our lives. Your personal information gets exposed so often, making it dangerously easy for a cyber criminal to steal your identity. Protect that identity can be easy with LifeLock by Norton. LifeLock detects and alerts you to potential identity threats that you might not spot on your own: loans taken out in your name, crimes committed by thieves pretending to be you. And if you become a victim of identity theft, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix. Now, no one can prevent all identity theft from auditing all transactions at all businesses, but it's easy to help protect yourself with LifeLock. Join now, save up to 25% off your first year with promo code George. And head on over to LifeLock.com. Use promo code George for 25% off.
Tired of overpaying for your cell phone bill? Switch to Consumer Cellular and save up to half on your wireless plan. Their award-winning 100% U.S.-based customer support team makes switching easy. Plus, you can keep your phone and number with no contract or activation fees. They offer unlimited talk and text with a flexible data plan starting at just $20 a month. You can easily add your family and friends to your plan for just $16 a month per line. Never worry about dropped calls. Consumer Cellular has the exact
Yo,
same
dog,
coverage as
my
the
friend,
carriers
this
that
name
cover
is Joe.
99% of the nation. This is all backed by their 100% risk-free guarantee. Join the millions of others who have switched. Go to consumercellular.com/radio25 and for a limited time, get $25 off when you use promo code radio25. That's consumercellular.com/radio25. Promo code radio25.
And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie with John Hayes. John, I've got something on my bulletin board that I look at once in a while. It says of all things done, tongue and pen, the status of which was might have been. Do you sometimes look back and say, if I had done this differently, I wouldn't have been here? Absolutely. Absolutely. Not a day goes by. Does it haunt you? Yeah, it does. And then you sit there and say, okay, what can I do with that? How can I embrace my failure? Because what I learned through my time in business is that failure is an event. And since I had a big public failure, I have to embrace it now. And my goal is that I want to change it to where there's a saying in life that I know you well. I know you know well as well. Seldom in life do we realize our greatest dreams are our worst fear. You know, I've done both. And I would love to help somebody never have to realize their worst fear, and hopefully I can help them realize their greatest fear. What would you do differently if thoughts through that right after you told them? I ran into a woman in the Ritz-Carlton in St. Louis in 2007, and she tried to stay here, and she had very simple business from my business, but and she said, son, why are you still at a bank? And that's what I saw that today, and I said, how do I get to meet a lot of people? She goes, you could just put your name on a door anywhere in St. Louis and they find you. And she was right. And what I should have done was just found my own private equity investment fund, but I would have gravitated to real estate banking and probably ended up in the same place. But I wouldn't have committed a federal crime. That's the difference. Were you convicted or did you plea bargain? I plea bargained, and the reason why I plea but it wasn't one. I mean, I was guilty. But two, my co-defendant, and unrelated to me, was in the real estate business, and over 200 people had lost their homes by buying into what we call contractor deeds or military back. Right. He had to pay the bank, and given his financial problems, he didn't pay the bank, and they either lost or was in the process of losing their home. And they would fight for their trials, and my lawyer said, I think we could win 9 out of 10 counts. The one that we're in, there's no way that when they bring in all those families that have lost their homes, that you're sitting at the big table, even though you didn't do that, you're not going to get convicted, so that would be 20 years. Well, if your lawyer published, I probably know who he was. Yeah. If I was speak in New York and we talked about St. Louis, that you get on the kettle right around the street, I told him, I said, I grew up in a town in 2000 in St. Louis, is the smallest town I've ever lived in. And it is a big, small town. I'm reading the book, you almost lost your St. Louis at one time. I did. I had a good college friend who was my accountant, and then he worked for our trust company, and whenever they were for sale by the Wall Street, we got the bidding. And it was an amazing thing, and ironically, the group that bought it, after, not the group that bought Iraq, but the group that owns it now, did a very similar thing what we were going to do. As soon as I announced that I was in the running, dozens of people, many of whom you knew or know, and said, hey, I'll put in $1 million, or I'll put in $5 million or whatever. And it was going to be a group of people who wanted to keep the Blues in St. Louis and love sports and wanted to have fun. But we were fortunate not to buy it because, again, the economy went ahead, and the group, we thought we lose 25 million short, and in about 3 years, we would have lost 50. And the people who bought our lost their shirt. Incredible. Now, are you prevented from going back in the banking, Sean? I am, but I actually left on my own accord before I was ever indicted or anything. And it was largely, I gave a talk about a dozen years ago to a group of St. Louis, and it really was how the business has changed. And the entrepreneurial style of banking that I was is gone. It is truly utility now. And all these people that I was talking to one of my nephews this last weekend, he talked about his brother who'd invested in a small bank in the South. He said he had money in 10 years when it had grown. I said, it won't. The business is not conducive to the way we did it in the old days. Now, when corporations hire you to talk with them about your life, yes, it's in the, and they come at me, there's 3 things I talk about, but they come at me mainly in large businesses. Ethics, how do you talk that line? We had a large, the Final Four accounting firm paid a $200 million fine last year for cheating on the CPA exam. And you can just go down Fortune 500, Fortune 500, where they've done things that weren't right. And through this journey, I've met a wonderful man who was, he ended up in the same place I did. He's much older and done, Matt Damon had done a movie where he was at a large company that fight things. So, it's also business about it. With smaller groups and smaller companies, there's entrepreneurship in it. Because, again, I've had this success and that failure. And I never thought of myself as an entrepreneur, George. And I won an ENY award, and I won St. Louis. I was voted one of the top 12 entrepreneurs in the last 20 years. And it wasn't until 2008, when my demise was getting full flames, that I finally said I am an entrepreneur. And I would tell your listeners there was a study about 30 years ago. And at that time, what defined an entrepreneur was did their parents get a regular paycheck? And if you look at what's happened in society over the last 30 years, or more importantly, the last 40 something, more and more people are either gig county workers or equal themselves. And that's what really an entrepreneur is. And I finally figured out that's what I was. John, what do you think your biggest problem was? Do you think you trusted the wrong people, worked with the wrong people? Here's, and you said right, trust. This is, I'll take it one step beyond this. This is when you have all the time to think in prison. I thought they wanted something as bad as I wanted it. And all my co-defendant had to do was do what I've seen him do for 20-some years, was just take these houses and sell them. And if he sold them, then what I want the time would have gone away. He was legit for a long time, wasn't he? Oh yeah, for 30 years or more. And what he did was, he was so buried, I didn't understand the weight of his problem. That what he did was, he just was once I fixed that problem that I thought fixed my problem, he went on to try to fix the next problem and didn't fix what I had engineered. And but it was thinking that someone wants something as bad as you do. And now that anytime I'm talking to someone about anything, I try to think, are they really as hungry as I am? And quite honestly, you're one of those guys who started and become unbelievably successful. When you have an inner hunger, and the world doesn't have that. Maybe 90% of the world doesn't have it. And there was my error. Trust and hunger is what I call it.
Well, you were always a good guy. I mean, it's just one of the reasons you're on this program today, because you're a good person. And you made some mistakes, you've admitted to them, and you shouldn't be whipped for the rest of your life because you make a mistake.
And I really think one thing too, I think, because, and that's one thing you learn when you're in prison, is everybody makes mistakes. And when the Constitution was written, there were 3 federal laws: treason, counterfeiting, and murder. Now there's 40,000. And there's a lawyer who wrote a book several years ago that virtually every businessman in America breaks the law every day. I did it by choice. I did the wrong thing. But it's very complex these days, and people do things they don't realize.
I like the fact that you do not blame other people for your demise. I mean, you did this to yourself.
Absolutely.
Now, what's going on with cancer?
Well, I'm in remission, and I'm actually in really good health. I feel good. It's just, and it's exciting to have something like this in front of me. And more importantly, in the last 3 years that I've been out, I've had people come up to me in restaurants, and you see someone, you think you know them, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to say something, rude or something, and they'll come up and say, I have 2 income abuse. I wouldn't have a house if it wasn't for you. Yesterday, I met a man who's going to be 90 in a few weeks. He said, Tony, goes, you don't know this. In 1990, I knew this company filed for bankruptcy. It was a large company. He was in St. Louis. Where he goes, my wife and I had bought a house. We had no money left, and I went into the consulting business. And quite honestly, I knew him, but I didn't know. I've known him over 40 years. And so there has been a lot of good come out of this, and that actually makes my health better. Because, when you get positive feedback, you feel better. And I think health is so much in your head. And I think the cancer the second time came from being in prison with a healthcare score, being depressed, dealing with these issues, and to finally get well. And I think that writing the book was a cleansing. And it's a desire for redemption.
And you're self-publishing.
Yes. I had to tell somebody that 90+% of all books are self-published. And so there's just, the internet has changed the world where you can reach out, where you can get editors, and you can get people from anywhere in the part of the country to help you. It's a wonderful thing.
Before the break, you were talking about how you were shackled. What's that feel like?
Well, I tell you, I'm fortunate that I'm not claustrophobic, because and I would drive an hour into court like that, and lots of times in a van with 2 or 4 or 6 other men. And so it's not a good thing. It rubs you raw, It's your ankles and your wrists, and by the way, they touch you from behind a lot of times, and so you're right with you stepping on your hands. But I wouldn't want anyone to go what I went through first. I would. It's not something that is pretty or anything. On the other hand, even at the worst moments, I remember one night in county jail, I walked 10 miles every day, because that was how I kept my mental faculty. And I had a 50-foot hallway with 54-foot. So I walked down and back. And one night I was just at the end. I'd been in about 4 or 5 months. And there was a young man who had diabetes, and every night they'd give him food. And I was so hungry. I mean, you literally starved to death. I lost 64 pounds. Now I went in about 40 pounds over.
You weren't that. Oh, did you gain weight later?
I did. When I was going through all this, you eat and drink horribly. You drink alcohol, and you eat the worst food. But I was a good 40 pounds more than I should have been. But I lost 64 pounds. And this man, as he walked down the hallway about 9 something night, threw me an apple. And you would have thought it was, $1 million. You would have thought it was, the best restaurant in LA, and there are thousands of them. But no, it was, it's a very humbling experience.
So now that you're regrouping, what's your plan for yourself?
Well, I have a lot of demons, repair, most importantly with my children.
To talk to your marriage,
talk to my marriage, And it cost me my relationship with my children. Ironically, as I went through this, and I have 5 children, I always say you're all first among equals, but the one that would have been in 5th place 10 years ago is now in 1st place. And so, it's a dynamic relationships are dynamic, but it's rebuilding those relationships. It's amends to a lot of people, but more importantly, it's touching people that I would have never gotten to touch. And you're allowing me that platform. I'm thankful, and you're unbelievably gracious for letting me talk to your listeners, because what I did was wrong, that anybody could do something and end up in the same place, and your life isn't over. And we as humans, we're very adaptable, but we also, you have to be a survivalist. If somebody is Paul told me yesterday, he told me how I helped him to get started, that you're a survivor, and that we all are. It's just how do you keep it? And that's what disappointed me about my codependent taking his life. I hadn't seen him in years, and actually, I think if we would have ended up in the same prison, I was there for 8 months and I got transferred. We'd have been there for probably 6 months together. He would have done very well there, and I think he would have seen that it's not the end of the world, and not that I want anybody to figure it out on their own, but truthfully it isn't. And so there's a lot I have to do left. When did he take his life? Well, he was supposed to show up in July of 2000. Is this the person we've been talking about? Yes. And quite honestly, and because they tell you a lot of information, as a secretary, he's a prisoner, he said he's going to be here like next Tuesday. Well, next Tuesday there's a and he didn't show up. And so I found out through the news media that he'd gotten a week or 2 week extension, and then that time he didn't come up, and then actually within USA Today and forget the local papers that he'd taken his own life. And that was, I wish, a regret would have been that I could have somehow communicated with him and said, it's not what you think it is. And it certainly isn't worth taking your life for. How old was he? He would have probably in his early 60s, because he was older than I was, yeah. Still young. So yeah, he was in good health to my knowledge. I hadn't seen him in 4 years before that, but still. Can companies email you through your website? Yes. You can, people can click in there and they can email me directly. Yes, there's contact. SeanHayes.com, SeanHayes, linked up at coasttocoastfam.com. The name of your book is called The Great Choice. Tell me about the title. Well, as I said earlier, there's a lot of gray in life, and I made choices in the gray. And where it was legal, in the old days, we'd go to our law firm and we'd say, we want to do this. And my question would be, I want to do it. And the interest is what it has to be legal, but don't ever tell me I can't do something. Tell me how I can. Legally. Legal, yeah, right, exactly. Illegal. And then I will determine if the aggravation and the cost is worth it. And the example I gave is that if I want to go to Chicago, I want to get on I-55 and go up there. Well, they say, no, you got to go to Kansas City and Des Moines and Seattle and take a train to Chicago. Well, probably worth the time and the cost. But if you do that over and over and over, we'll call that the light grade, where you're pushing the envelope, but you're way in territory. And then if you get used to doing that, you slowly migrate. And I used the plane analogy a few minutes ago, but this is something I say in the book because my dad had been a pilot part of the war starting in World War II, and once it started, he knew the math and he joined the Navy. He had a brother that was killed in a plane crash, so he was a fond of planes. I never had a fear of planes. I had no desire to fly myself. And I had an investment with some people in a healthcare company that was successful, and we were traveling around in southern Missouri, and every day he said, Sean, you need to just, with these 2 of us in the plane, he made me sit in the co-pilot seat. Because you need to know at least what's in front of you if something would happen. Because he was older, pretty good health. And I said, okay, I'll do that. Finally, and I took controls. I don't know if you heard a phone flying, and I was terrified. And I was hanging on for dear life, and truly, George, I thought I was instrument correct. And after about 20 minutes, he said, Sean, I'm going to take over. Well, I thought the best thing in the world had happened. And he looked at me at the door and he goes, you don't want to take over? And I said, no. He said, well, I'd rather see this. We
My granddaughter, who's 21, has a commercial license that has been hired by United. Once she gets a certain amount of hours, she's going to be a pilot.
That's great. That's one I love it. The things that women are able to do. I tell that story in the book, but this is the truth. When I was a young banker, if a woman came in for a job, and I'm talking a college graduate, a 20-something in the early 80s, they would ask them to drive a car. And so one day I said, why do you ask? They go, well, our wives don't drive cars. And so they thought women didn't drive. I'm here 40 years ago. It's just great to see a granddaughter that's going to be a commercial.
We're going to take a break, John, and come back and take phone calls with you in just a moment on Coast to Coast. Those of you on hold, just hang where you are. We will get you immediately right after the break as we talk with Sean James, who is a great banker in St. Louis, but it came all falling down.
Join the Coast to Coast AM Facebook page with thousands of members. It's great for show updates and connecting with other fans. Go to facebook.com/Coast to Coast AM and click the like button.
Yo, dog, what's everything, yo? I'm Bree Pettis in the 24-hour newsroom. Mayor Karen Bass says her Inside Safe program has cleared 6 homeless encampments in L.A. She says in 2 months the program has moved 247 people into temporary shelters. Police are looking for a group of thieves caught on ransacking several GameStop stores while they were open. They hit stores in East L.A., San Pedro, Pasadena, El Monte, and Chino. GameStop is now offering a $5,000 reward for their capture. LeBron James is now the NBA's all-time scoring player, pushing aside Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record, which was set in '84. James is in his 20th season with the NBA. He's scored over 38,000 points in his career so far. Southside weather from KFI. Lots of sunshine today with highs in the low 70s. Right now it's 47 in Mission Viejo. Santa Ana has 48, 49 in Westwood, and 50 in San Dimas. We lead local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Bree Pettis.
In South Valley, there is a full freeway closure just on the 405 north south of Rutgers to Warner Avenue. All lanes are going to be shut down for road work until 5. South LA, this is on the 110 southbound right before Century Boulevard. We have a crash and the emergency there taking up the 3 right lanes. This side is catching up right around Manchester. Physical Rita, there is a Brooklyn 5 southbound from Cowgirls to the 14. 2 right lanes are shut down for road work until 6. KFI and the Style, get you there faster up right, fans. Are you looking for a way to protect your portfolio against the uncertainty of the stock market? Invest in real estate with over $1.5 billion in assets. First National Realty Partners offers investors access to institutional quality real estate featuring national brand tenants such as Walmart, Kroger, Sprouts, Publix, and many others. FNRC is one of the largest syndicators of grocery-anchored real estate in the U.S. Investors choose the specific units to invest in and receive consistent quarterly cash distributions. To learn about their investor partner opportunity, call the Investor Relations team now. 888-301-9010. That's 888-301-9010. Or get started at FNRCradio.com. That's FNRCradio.com. Get a preview of their current and upcoming deals and see what returns investors are earning. Call 888-301-9010 or FNRCradio.com. Including law to do securities are only available to verify the credit of investors. Cash distributions are not guaranteed. Any representation made about investment stability reflects FNRC strategy and may or may not be realized. Visit FNRCradio.com. Medicare scam. You get a phone call, do not talk to the person. Never get out your Medicare number. They want to get your number, put in a false number.
Just for luck.
How do you detect Medicare fraud? Just like I check my credit card statement, I check my Medicare statement monthly.
If this statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it. Call the Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call 855-613-7600. 7080. The true crime podcast, Paper Ghost, is back with a brand new case. Season 3 digs deep into the 1992 cold case murder of Ken Josewicki, a New Jersey college student, and uncovers a murky police investigation, a pool of new suspects, and a community still desperate for answers 30 years later.
Cam is supposed to be on campus, and she's not here, and people are starting to get worried.
Listen to Paper Ghost on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's up behind
AM 640. AM 640. AM 640. Live and everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. AM 640. At coasttocoastam.com. When I was 17, it was a very good year. It was a very good year for small brown girls and color lights. We'd hide from the light of the village green. When I was 17. When I was 21, it was a very good year. It was a very good year for sisters who lived up the stairs with all that perfume hair. And it came undone when I was 21. To talk to George Norrie, call the wildcard line at 818-501-4109. The first-time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk toll-free, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll-free, call 800-618-8255. To reach George via Skype, use Skype name George 97313. Send George a text message anytime at 818-298-6521. This is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Remember when you were 21? Wow, where did the time go? We'll come back in a moment and take your calls with Sean Hayes. It'd be a great choice to name of his book. Have you signed up yet to become a Coast Insider? Lots of people are doing that. I'm a Coast Insider because now I have 24/7 access to the best show ever, Coast to Coast AM.
Hi, it's Teresa. I love being an insider because the shows I listen to, I always appreciate the diversity of thoughtful insights that brings me on a variety of topics from coast to coast. The show has challenged me to think deeper and to broaden my horizon.
Give it a try. A couple ways to sign up, coasttocoastam.com, right at the top of the homepage. Or if you download our free app, Coast to Coast AM, right to your phone, you can sign up that way by clicking profiles and subscriptions. Also available now if you live in Canada and worldwide to become a Coast Insider. That is something for you to de-stress yourself. Increase your energy and stamina while enhancing your mental clarity, focus, and memory. Start your day with Elevate to improve your mood and alleviate stress. Then wind down at night with Accelerate for mental and physical relaxation while naturally cleansing and detoxifying, promoting healthy weight loss. Accelerate and Elevate your Power Path.
I actually started this product not long ago, and I've just blown away from what it's done for me with energy, with focus, and clarity, and it's all natural. letters community, and I was in interest off my list. I was feeling an underlying exhaustion that I could not shake. These are the gifts. My years have been incredible, and I absolutely love these. Well, I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I have a lot of kids. I would take it and it would last until I took the accelerate. So before I started taking the elevate and the accelerate, I would typically experience some kind of anxiety or mood swing. Since taking the product, I haven't taken any over-the-counter medication or prescription. Just generally have your prescription.
I've probably had an anxiety or panic attack every 4 or 5 days, and I have not had one depressive thought. I have not been anxious. I've not been jittery. First time I took this pill, I didn't know what to do with myself. Just felt good. Focused. There was like a drive inside of me all of a sudden. I was just excited. I was like, this is for real.
Definitely know the deal. They not only give you energy, not only give you the vitamins and the body, but it helps me with my health. And you know what? I think it's not really good.
Your power pack. Order now and receive free refreshing weight loss tablets. Accelerate, elevate, and each one. Order now at healthylooking.com or 800-394-9930. Don't forget promo code George for free shipping. That's 800-394-9930 or healthylooking.com. Polls keep showing a very tight race between former President Donald Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for that 2024 run for governor for nomination for Republican president. This could be the biggest political battle ever. Now, Newsmax wants to know what you think. They're conducting an urgent poll asking if you think President Trump should run again, or is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis a better choice? More than the Newsmax poll, just text the word river to 39747. That's river to 39747, and let your voice be heard. Get into Newsmax, the news you can trust. Newsmax is carried on most major cable systems. If your cable system doesn't carry them, demand it. Be sure to vote in Newsmax poll on whether former President Trump should even run again. That's river to 39747. That's river to 39747. Make the switch to Newsmax. You won't look back. And don't forget, Newsmax.com.
You have $10,000 every factor for more expenses. With the increasing cost of a funeral, plus any credit card debt and other expenses you have, your family could be stuck paying that huge bill. So what will happen if you're becoming a disease in 5 years to $10,000 or more to cover final expenses for less than $1 a day? Call the Life Insurance Savings Group at 800-815-3030 or go to lifeinsuranceSavings.com. With no medical exam. Every time down, even if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or overweight. Plus, your rates will never go up. Your benefits will never go down. All for less than $1 a day. Get your free quote today. Call 800-895-3030
all night.
815-3030
Oh my God,
or go to
that's so crazy.
lifeinsuranceSavings.com.
That's so crazy. Never heard anything that crazy.
Total confidence sample policy at webport.com/parental.
The whole fucking night. Jack, did you give us Lego stayed up the whole fucking night? I like doing this.
And welcome back to our final segment. George Story here along with John Hayes. This book is called The Great Choice. John, I don't think that you had money that you looked high on the hog, did you?
No, not at all. We were, the money made, I kept reinvesting in business and things like that. We didn't get crazy things like that, airplanes and things like that. No, we were just your typical upper middle class family.
Let's go to the phone. Mike in Denver. Welcome to the show. Hey, Michael.
Why? It's like a poor dog.
Thank you for taking my call, Mr. Hayes. And Mr. Hayes, I just wanted to tell you, thank you so much for sharing your story, and for having the inclination to want to let people learn from your story. I think that is so important. A lot of times in life, it's not about the mistakes we make, but how we recover from them. And I would agree with George on that when he said that. So, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you. And then I just had a quick question. If there is a lesson or lessons you want people to learn from your story, what would they be?
Well, Michael, thank you for your kind words. The lesson to take from this is to surround yourself. And George talked about this, and I really didn't address it at the heart. I had some really bright people around me, men and women that loved and cared about me.
And when I told my company I lost that connection, and one because of age, I should have rebuilt it. To surround yourself with good people, and that just changes everything. And I didn't do that, and that's one of the many things that led to my demise for Bitcoin. I didn't know that you guys were looking at Centene as the bank. Oh yeah, no, we looked at all kinds of stuff. You name it, we joked. We used to say we had a code name for every bank in the market. You know, we would come up with when we did Southside, that was Project Rebel and things like that. You know, and equality was inequality. You know, fun things. But yeah, we looked at everything. Did Barksdale start that bank? You know, I don't remember. That's part of being old. I forget. There's so many names. Yes, you did. Peggy. Yep, you did. That's right, Peggy. Yep. Carl, Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome to the program. Hi, Carl. Hey, George. How you doing, buddy? Wonderful. Thank you. Well, hope the new year's treating you well. So far, so good. Very interesting guest. Doing it. Go ahead. Extremely. And I was unaware of his story. I consider myself, as you know, a news geek from a long time ago, and had not heard of Mr. Hayes, but I talked to Tommy extensively before he took my call. So let me ask him. But I googled him to try to find out what I knew about him, and they said the Fed wants to reverse his release. That was a year ago. That was a year ago. Yeah, that was yes. Earlier questions they ever let go of you know, and quite honestly, did I do four things wrong with the 24? They said yes. Committed no crime, but literally one of my calls. This is the one. Thank you for calling in, and two, thank you for saying I'm interested. But George, in my case, when you're in prison, they teach you to build your credit to get a cash-back credit card. Well, that was me borrowing money, even though I put up my own cash. And then it's a violation every time I charge it. I'm required, I do have a credit card that isn't cash-based, but I'm required if I use it to call the government first and ask permission. To use it? To use it. Because it's tax-based. Well, no, this is now I have one that isn't. Since all that happened, they let me keep one that's not cash-based. But still, if I wanted to go to the store and use it, I'd have to get permission to use it. Just a regular credit card? A regular credit card like you and Carl and all your listeners have in their pocket. And what do you have to tell them? A general idea how much it's going to cost? Well, yeah, what I'm going to do. It is like I said to when we finally came to this agreement, I said, I actually had to go to the dentist, and you have to pay him, and it was $2,500, and I didn't have that much on my one account, the debit card, and I had to use my credit card. Yeah, stuff like that. Do you have one of those things on your ankle? No, I don't. I did. This is something that the president said. They said that I got out for COVID. I didn't get out 1 hour for COVID. I knew I was getting out 9 months before I got out. And what I did, the benefit I got from COVID is I never went to a halfway house. I wore an ankle monitor for 9 months. I have a friend of mine, a great kid, African American, grew up from the street, housewife. Had a conviction when he was a young kid. Has been great ever since. He had a gun. Part of his agreement was he was not allowed to own one, but his girlfriend called the feds on him. And they took him away. He's been gone for 9 years. It's terrible and it's very complicated. What was his jail condition? Well, it's not, it's always, I put it this way. I consider county jail high school where they fight every day. I was staying in what's called a pod that had rooms of cells for 24 people, and we had 36 of us, meaning someone slept on the floor. It's about 6 foot by 12 feet with with a toilet, a commode, and a little bed thing, and with a horrible condition. It's been the federal prison I went to for 4 months, 8 months the first time. It was a bad summer camp. You get the brochure, you think it's this, and it was run down built about the young, and then the last place I went, Pensacola, was on a naval base, and it was a nice place. It had been much nicer until 2020 did a special on it about 30 years before. I was on that film. Oh, you are. What people don't realize is when you're fortunate, I was. It's the fortunate side Well, the naval guard there, the shore patrol, they won't stop them. They're walking out. They're there for other reasons. And the way I wasn't married, there were no pensions. I kept pulled out of it. I did my officer indoctrination. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it's a small world. And actually, the prisoners at that camp, 400 of them worked at a factory, the naval base, and an Air Force base. Oh, yeah, Louisiana's with us. Hello there. Hey there, George and John. I don't know if you heard my story, John. I was a federal correctional officer at Hotel 1, Louisiana, where they had the students that rioted in the 80s and stuff. I came in the 90s when they rebuilt the place, and I went to federal prison. George, the first thing that I did, I bought me a radio so I could listen to Coast AM. Why did that do? Yeah, and I used to listen to Paul Harvey and Rush Limbaugh, and of course Arcel, our great friend. Yeah. So Sean, I hope you be careful and everything because I had a good federal probationary officer that really helped me because he knew that the FBI and the Federal Bureau of Prisons were simply setting me up. They put a piece of rope in my food when I was in the Catholic federal lockup because they don't put you straight in federal prison. They put you in like you put a county lockup for the state. Well, tell them what the rope represented. Well, it was a hard with the two-ball talking, Mr. White, and I was an African American, and they were good to me because they were born with them, they had a good squad out on me and stuff. But like I said, the federal government is no good. I hope you have a good probation officer. You do everything you can. The second probationary officer I got, and then the first one told me, said, look, you better watch yourself, do everything right. The first one that I had, I didn't really, the word he wanted to try to help to clear the name and stuff. So he was retiring, so the new one wanted to, make a name for himself. So he wanted to put me back in prison. So if I didn't get a job within a certain amount of time, they were going to put me back in prison. So please, Sean, do whatever they tell you. Listen to the Bible and read it. That's the first thing. That's another thing I got to George was the Bible. And God bless Coach and Coach Area. God bless you, Sean. I hope you have your book that's booked for me, and that's all it takes you to get booked with. So God bless you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And you are exactly right. You have to march to their drum. I appreciate that. You're giving safe advice. Are you on parole right now? Yes. Well, they call probation. There's no parole in the federal system. Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. You got to check in every once in a while. Yeah, they check in with you, and you send in a monthly report, and they care. I have, and I don't mind your advice. I love it. It's kind of, as Mick Jagger says, and the God says, you get what you need, not always what you want. And since I have family like children at varying times, I drive a school bus source from 5:30 a.m. until 8:30, and from 1:30 to 4:30, and I get 10 of the most wonderful African American middle school kids you can imagine, and they're like family. And so I do that, and that's my day job, and this is my night job. Did you do Uber or DoorDash or anything like that? I did DoorDash, and the government, they don't care if it's good, they just won't count it as a job. Because it's not what they want to get a definition of a hard job. It's a hard job. What it's taught is what it reinforced, because I do a lot of that service the way I grew up. But I'm just amazed at what people will order. And, that somebody will spend $10 to get $5 worth of candy. I'm also amazed at how fast food restaurants are not fast, and how in St. Louis, since COVID, they don't even open. You can only go through the drive-thru. I think if my children all waited tables or had similar service jobs, I think everybody should do that. I think it's an education in customer service, and it's just like everything when you're brought up in our generation. You treat people like you want to be treated, and race and age, and nothing matters. Treat people right, the golden rule, and that seems to have been lost. You really see it short day. First time caller BJ in your neck of the woods, St. Louis. Hey BJ, you there? Just go ahead. Yeah, I used to call on Sean's company as a lender rep for the subprime loan there that, he doesn't always think too highly of. Small stuff. Yes, it is a small world. It was a small town. Who did you work for, by the end? So I worked for the first banking company. Oh, yeah, well, that was owned by National City. That's right. Yeah, that was the upgrade of National. I didn't even know they owned that place. First 500 until they tried to sell the Merrill Lynch in 2007 and 8. They basically gave it away, didn't they? Oh, that's also Merrill Lynch and Bank of America. That's a cascading thing. Yeah. So you were at ground zero. You understand the subprices is far better than I do. They say we may be heading back to another one of those crashes again. I think I will say that I think real estate is headed for certainly a big downturn. I won't know that I'd say crash because I'm not that smart. But and I also don't think there's a risk in lending that there was 15 years ago. But there's still a lot of risk in it. And the problem you've got is in your earlier guest at the very beginning of your show said, mortgage rates are 6.4. Well, it wasn't, 2 years ago they were 2.7. And that's a big thing in housing and in commercial real estate. What was the crime that they claim you committed? Because it's not a crime to tank a bank. I mean, that's a business move, right? Right. That is. But once you take one, they look at everything. What I did was, in the transaction, there was I was trying to replicate something that I'd seen someone do 30 years before I accidentally bought our first bank from that made tens of millions of dollars. Is my co-defendant had bad loans at quite a few banks, and so we bought them at huge discounts from those banks. But I wouldn't lend him the money because I knew he had problems. But he found three qualified people that could pay the loan without any income from the loan. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that the risk wasn't a bit bad. What happened, and all he had to do was get a deal with him to where he would make commissions on selling them, and he would get paid for his improvement. And they would take the things, and he had some kind of revenue split. I don't know what that was.
Oh, man. You're like a mother.
Along the way to that party, there was a loan at one of the banks that I had at the corner of McKnight and Manchester, and it was going to be a target. They had a signed contract, and in 2008, Target backed out, and that bank got very nasty, and they wanted their money. They called it. Well, they were going to call it. And they were going to come to me for the money, and I had lost so much money I couldn't do it. So we put it in the package. And all that had to happen was that we liquidated, because it was funny, overage in that, it would have just disappeared. So it was only a few $100,000, but that's breaking the law. And you got much to told me you knew it was wrong. Oh, I totally knew it was wrong. Absolutely. And I would have, but
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done this.
Liquidating situation like that himself went back to what I said earlier. What he saw it as is once we got those bank buckets back, he not only took advantage of me, but he took advantage of three men that were his friends. Absolutely. John, we're out of time. Good luck with the book. It's a great choice. And I hope maybe it turns into a movie one day, huh? Oh, I hope so. And George, thank you for your time, and thanks for your guests for listening. I love your show as an AM and a PM, and it's stay in touch. I'll see you next time I'm in LA, I promise. All right, you be good. John Hayes, former banker, did his time 8 years. Came out and wrote the book, The Great Choice, which is available all over the place, and his website is linked up at coast-to-coast.com. Up next, we talk about the other side. Don't forget to watch our TV show, Beyond Belief, with George Norrie. Simply go to beyondbelief.com. This President's Day, don't miss Pig Tail to the Chick sale. Don't you mean hail to the Chief, Larry? No, I want hail to the Chief, with over 50% off the best brand. Plus, with your good credit, buy today and take interest-free for 36 months. On purchase of about $3,000 with a minimum monthly payment and 10% down. I'm going straight to
hell? You're just killing me, Larry! Thanks for being anyone's advertised pricer. Your mattress is free! Hey, always keep me sharp. For emergency backup power, there is only one name you need to know. Duffy Power. Since 1965, Southern California has relied on Duffy for power in the most critical situations. Hospitals and high-rises, data centers and school districts, every form of business, big or small, even homes and RVs. Whether it's a new generator or Duffy's legendary repair and maintenance services or an emergency rental, Duffy Power has you covered 24/7, 365. If you live or do business in Southern California, you know it's no longer a question of if the power is going to go down. It's only a question of whether you're just going to let it happen or take control. Control means it's time to call Duffy Power. To learn how to protect yourself from the next outage and all the ones after that, go to DuffyPower.com. DuffyPower.com. That's DUCHIE Power.com. Live from Radio Row, it's Super Bowl week, and there's no better way to stay up to speed than with the Around the NFL podcast. Join me, Dan Handers, and my bud, Mark Scheffler, and Greg Rosenthal for the latest football news with Jeff the Touch Murray. We've got the #1 football podcast in the world, and Rihanna is playing the Apple Music halftime show. It doesn't get much better than that thing. Hang out with us live from Glendale, Arizona, all week long. Listen to Around the NFL on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Heard any of our secret mind control hidden messages recently? No? That's because we're really good at it. You know what? Los Angeles, Orange County, live here on the iHeartRadio app. Homeless House. I'm Bree Tennyson with KFI 24-hour newsroom. Mayor Karen Brown says her Inside Safe program has cleared 6 homeless encampments in LA. She says in the 2 program has been working. She's moved 247 people into temporary shelters. LeBron James is now the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. Thank you guys so much for letting me be a part of something I've always dreamed about. And I would never, ever, in a million years, think this even better than what it is tonight. The race for survivors in Turkey and Syria continues. The death toll has passed 9,000. It's now the deadliest seismic event in a decade. Search and rescue teams from LA will arrive in Turkey today. President Biden addressed the nation in his second State of the Union address. He hit on several key issues, including the economy, the Ukraine war, reproductive rights, and police reform. He also recognized Brandon Shea, who disarmed the Monterey Park shooter. A baby's been rescued from a carjacker. LAPD says the suspect pushed the mother out of a car. He jumped in and took off with a kid inside. Police tracked him down to Panorama City to cuff him. After the child's father also tracked the car, he attempted to hit the suspect. Police stepped in. The family has since been reunited. Southwest is ending the COVID-19 assistance at the end of the month. Most people will see a decrease of about $95. And how about grabbing a cup of coffee at a cannabis cafe? California will vote this year on whether to allow cannabis cafes, offering a coffee shop or local bar atmosphere with food, drinks, and even live music and cannabis. And Netflix says they may have been a bit hasty by not letting people share passwords. They're currently reconsidering their options. Southside weather from KFI. Mostly sunny skies on the way. Highs around 70. Right now it's 47 in Stanton. Newport Beach is 51. 50 in El Monte and 49 for Burbank. We lead local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Bree Tennis. In the city, there is a full freeway closure to southern and eastbound from Overland all the way to National. Southbound as always, shut down for road work until 5. South LA. This is on the 110 southbound before Century Boulevard. Clean up crews from an earlier crash. Taking up to 3 right lanes. You drive to stop and go from before Manchester. And in Fountain Valley, there's a fully freeway closure. 405 northbound from Brookers to Warner Avenue. All lanes are going to be shut down for road work until 5. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Brian Bay. Are you looking for a way to protect your portfolio against the uncertainty of the stock market? Invest in commercial real estate with over $1.5 billion in assets. First National Realty Partners offers investors access to institutional quality real estate featuring national brand tenants such as Walmart, Kroger, Sprouts, Publix, and many others. NRC is one of the largest syndicates of grocery-anchored real estate in the U.S. Investors choose the specific deals to invest in and receive consistent quarterly cash distributions. To learn about their investor partner opportunity, call the Investor Relations team now. 888-301-9999. 19010 or FNRCRADIO.com. The message is subject to risk, including loss of your personal security, but only available to verified accredited investors. Past distributions are not guaranteed. Any representation made about investment stability reflects FNRC strategy and may or may not be realized. Visit FNRCRadio.com. Hey, all, it's Steve Sharp. Did you hear the news? Yeah, California Utilities Commission just changed the rate by which solar customers are credited for their power output. It's called net metering 3.0. It's now the law, and no one is happy about it because it means getting 85% less credit from the big power companies. The good news is there's a grandfathering period, and you can still permanently lock in the awesome rate of net metering 2.0 if you need to have your solar documents filed by April 14th. The point is this: if you have ever thought about going solar, now is the time. Which means now is the time to call Sunlux. Sunlux will walk you through how to lock in net metering 2.0 by the April 14th deadline. Even if you're not ready to install the system, call Sunlux and get your solar documents filed. There is no time to wait to lock in the best returns on solar you will ever see. Start today at sunlux.com. Sunlux.com. PSLB 1008274. This is hard to admit, but when I was in junior high school, I was bullied so badly, I cried. Hello, I'm John Coyan, founder of Rooter Hero Plumbing. I was named O'Donnell after my grandfather, but as a kid, I was teased for having that name, so I changed it to John. John is the English version of O'Donnell, and it maintains the honor to my grandfather. My family and heritage are important to me, so staying true to myself and Rooter Hero Plumbing are important. Staying true to Rooter Hero Plumbing means being true to you and delivering world-class service. That's why my cell phone number is on the back of every Rooter Hero Plumbing business card. Call us at 866-377 and we'll cable your line for $7. That's 866-377. Thank you. CL 102-8886. Forget about people life. Forget about they think people should have the same life as the rest of us. How about what do you care? Like the couple next door to you is gay? No, that's horrible. They're great wrestlers. Still handle. No, I don't think it's good because they win. I'll be better than me. Of course. Live 6 to 9 a.m. on KMI. And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk. Coast to coast and worldwide on the internet. This is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Up next, psychic medium Catherine Nadell makes her first appearance on the program. We'll be chatting with her about the other side. And later on, when we take calls, of course, you can ask your questions about being a psychic or a medium. And if you want a specific reading, she'll need a specific question from you, and she'll figure it out. Wherever you may live, whatever certain areas you might be in that have some kind of trouble, earthquakes, for example, a horrible situation over in the Middle East. T-Trend has been a leader in emergency radios for decades with the highly rated CT Solar Observer. We all know prices have gone up all over the place. T-Trend is dropping the price to $49.99.
T-Crane's CC solar observer AM and FM weather radio can be powered by a hand crank, a solar panel, or common AA battery. Got a built-in flashlight and has the ability to charge your smartphone in a pinch. It's a very dependable emergency radio with superior reception and audio, something everyone should have. The CC Solar Observer is the perfect choice. Highly recommend. This week only, get the CC Solar Observer for only $49.99 by calling T-Crane now. 1-800-522-8863. That's 1-800-522-8863. Or visit them at their website, tcrane.com. 2023 is off to a turbulent start despite the U.S. breaking through the $31.4 trillion debt ceiling in January. The administration has no plans to curb spending. It's times like these you want to be diversified. It's times like these you want to have physical gold and silver on hand, and you can buy it at bullionmax.com/post. That's right. Bullion Max will ship the gold and silver fully insured directly to your door. Think about that. Gold and silver are the world's oldest, most proven form of currency. It's there for you when inflation soars, when other assets go sideways, when the lights go out. To get started, go to bullionmax.com/coach and purchase your silver starter kit. Get 6 ounces of solid silver, including a limited vintage Aztec calendar coin, something Bullion Max and I set up just for you listeners. Again, go to bullionmax.com/coach now to purchase your silver starter kit to take the first step to building an emergency reserve of gold and silver. bullionmax.com/coach. bullionmax.com/coach. And welcome back to Coast. George Story with you.
Hey,
Captain
Mongo,
Val is an author, retired Army colonel, nurse, psychic medium, and clairvoyant. He served in the United States Army Reserve for 30 years, and for more than 3 decades continues to serve as a registered nurse. Catherine's communication has been with her since she was a little girl. She's an ordained minister and our Lord and Lady of the Trinitarian Church in Salem, Massachusetts. Trained at the Arthur Findlay School in Stansted, England. Additionally, she is a certified medium with the Forever Family Foundation. Recently featured in the Next Plus series, Surviving Death. Catherine, you do a great job. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, George. It's a pleasure to be on your show. I'm a big fan for many years.
How have you been?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. I was in the Navy for some time and did not spend as much time as you did in your service, but you're not going to take 30 years.
Fucking Chinese one.
I know. I was lucky to do that much time, but thank you for your service.
What rank did you finally achieve?
What do you call one of those fucking
Colonel.
Chinese boats? It's got a fucking hilarious name like
captain.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
How did you get involved in that thing?
it's got a fucking
So
hilarious
my
name.
first book, Single
Chinese
and
boat.
Talking
What
and
is it called?
Talking,
Chinese boat.
described exactly tons of moments that I realized that I was different than the other kids. I was sleeping with my dad, and one day he said, we're not going to go fishing unless we go out of the crab. And he took me out to the dock, and there was all these little boys on the dock, and I was the only girl.
I didn't
And he said, we're going to drop the net in. And he said, don't pick up the rope. My dad was a tall man, he was like 6'2", and kind of stern at times. And he wandered off to see what the boys were fishing. And I heard, pick it up, and it was getting louder. So I reached down and I started to pull the rope up. And my dad turned around and started doing his kind of crooked march back to me, saying, what are you doing? And I pulled the net out of the water, and there was the biggest blue crab on the dock that day, and the little boys came running over, and they were like, oh my gosh, and my father was like, how did you know that? And he kind of like looked at me, and then as I started to get a little bit older, I started having very visual dreams that were sometimes depicting things that were going to happen to people. And my father, being a very strict Roman Catholic, he kind of told me, like, don't share this information with people, do not entertain this. He shut it down very quickly. So that was the actual pivotal moment that I knew that voice that I was hearing, I needed to listen to it and pay attention to it.
Now, this program, of course, Coast to Coast, has connected you with a lot of people. Tell us about it.
Yes, so it's amazing. My dad, in his older years, he would stay up late at night and he would listen to a program. And he knew I was going up and down to Salem every Halloween to work with Christian Day and Lori Burnout. He would fill me in, as you know, on all the interviews that we did with them. And he was very fascinated with UFOs and the paranormal. So I talk about that in my book. But it's interesting because during my military career, because of my range, I had to travel in the Army Reserve to get certain positions because of my range. So they told me I'd have to go up to Newport, Rhode Island, and every time I went there, I had to pay for my own lodging. So I contacted a bed and breakfast, and I got to talking to the owner, and I told her, due to the military rate, and I started to tell her who I was, and that I had just had this book out, and she told me she was a UFO researcher, and that she really was very fascinated with all of the work, and we started talking about your show, and she gave me a military discount, and I stayed with her for many, many years while I was working there as that unit. And then most recently, which was probably like the beginning of last summer, I was sleeping and I listened to Coast kind of like on rewind, kind of a thing where older episodes I just let them play. And in the middle of the night, I woke up and I kept hearing my name, and I reached up and I turned the light on, and I started looking at the name of the episode, and it was Dr. William McDowell.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I thought you were related to her.
Yeah, no. I jotted it down and I said, okay, I'm going to look her up in the morning. And I looked her up and I thought, wow, it's really fascinating. And I sent her an email and I didn't think she was going to contact me so quickly. And she did contact me by email and then we got to talking on the phone. And I told her that over the past 2 years I've been struggling because from being in Iraq, I was diagnosed with the exposure injury, which is now known as burn tag. So that I was trouble sleeping sometimes and that, and she said that she could help me, she could teach me how to do meditations and so we had this kind of friendship, talking over Zoom and she was really interested in my work because her first book was called Six Sense and that was before a lot of new stores were open, 30 plus years ago and even new age sections in stores and libraries didn't really exist. So she's probably one of the pioneers on talking about a lot of this stuff. So she's just wonderful. You already know that though.
How did you end up highlighting the other side? How did that happen?
So it's interesting because a lot of my dreams were so vivid. Towards the end of my teens, my family would have special coffee and my friends when we were in college, we'd go down to the Bronx and have, Italian coffee and I started to look in the cups and I was like, oh, I could do a reading out of this, for my friends in college. I went to Mercy College for my bachelor's degree. And they were really fascinated by it. They were like, oh, wow, tell us more. And all of a sudden, the leases was coming over and people started asking me to do it. And then, I started to say, okay, well, I can do this. So then, we go for Turkish food and we have Turkish coffee and we go to a Greek restaurant and we have Greek coffee and it was all different. All the different coffees provide different kind of images and the cups and different consistencies.
My grandmother used to read the leaves left in the coffee cup.
Oh that's very similar. The coffee though really sometimes has some dramatic images, and for some people they're afraid to get a reading. For some people for you to tell them just something that's coming out of your mind kind of, startles people, but if they can see an image and they can put the pieces together like a story, it kind of, they get ignited into a conversation about it, or they tell me what they think this is. So it's really kind of been good in a way. And then I went to Iraq, and when I was in Iraq, it was very dangerous there. It was 2004 to 2005.
With the Army?
With the Army, yeah. And it was, we were getting bombed like on a daily basis over there and there was a lot of, there were, RPGs and all different sorts of listened to that was happening while we were there, and so my battle buddy said, hey, if we get out of here, when you go home, you have to share this with people because it's just too, it's uncanny. Like the work that you do really should be shared with other people to help them. And I promised her, and she's from Rhode Island. And I came home, and very shortly after being home, uh, one of the women in Westchester County that was running psychic therapy, she contacted me and said, could you bring your coffee maker? And I said, my espresso coffee maker? And she said, yeah, we're having a psychic fair. And I said, no one's going to drink that. She said, you're funny. She said, it'll be fun. It'll be a novelty. And I said, well, I have cups. Like, I use china cups. And she said, oh, yeah, maybe one or two people will do it. And I couldn't believe I said it. I was running back and forth trying to wash all these cups. I had a long line. And it was because you don't see it very often. And a lot of the women online started to tell me something that I didn't realize is that in certain cultures, they don't want the coffee read by someone in their own culture. So they feel like it's superstition. So they were very eager to get a coffee cup done with me.
They want an outsider.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And then, from doing those readings, I tell people I see more than the cup. I see beyond the cup. And I would start talking to someone and say, are you open to hearing from, the afterlife? Those that are passed on in your family and friends. And they would say yes. And everything that I was saying, they said was correct. So, I started getting a lot of feedback. And I was, talking to my dad. And my dad was like, this woman happens again and again and again. And he said, I don't want you to be called a charlatan. And I talk about it a lot in my book, but there's a big piece of that conversation in the book with my dad because he really felt strongly about that. He was a big fan of Houdini, and Houdini was, on a journey, to become.
And on a mission, wasn't it?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Amazing. And my dad worked at the Reader's Digest magazine. And in 1981, they published an article about Houdini. And I didn't realize that. My dad started to tell me all these facts about Houdini and Houdini's life, and I didn't know idea that he followed him so much, So my dad said, like, is there any way you could be casted? And I said that I had heard about Arthur Finley. And my dad said, well, if you can go, you should go. Because you should really know if they think you can do this, not just, people in Rochester that are at a psychic fair. So I went over to Arthur Finley and I worked with the British tutor Monkey and she validated it. I actually was in the smallest class, 9 students, and I'm just a beginner. It turned out it was the top class. And I came home and I said, Dad, they said that I can do this. And I became friends with Suzanne Northrop. I'm sure you know her very well. She's one of the pioneers. She goes back many, many years ago. And she was doing a workshop at Omega. And then going to her workshop, she told me that she was certified through the Forever Family Foundation. And she encouraged me to try, to be certified there. And they're very strict. They have very high standards. And it's a wonderful organization. And it was started, I thought, in 2015 after the daughter passed away.
What do you have to get by the light of the moment? You have illuminated, you have steps all around.
I know, it's amazing. I know. So I got certified by Forever Family, and they just recently, like you said, featured in Netflix. So
What's next all around?
so cats are very healing. They're my favorite pet. I've had a few pets in my life. My current pet is very popular on social media. Her name is Meg Ryan. I got her during COVID. She was from the shelter.
Her name is Meg Ryan?
Meg Ryan, I know. I got her through the shelter because some family during COVID dropped her off. And it turns out they dropped her off because she wasn't well. She has a chronic illness. She has some, she has chronic pancreatitis for a cat. It's sometimes common in older cats, And so I took her, and I made her well, and I continue to make her well every day. But that's a very feeling. My best friend, Cookie, um, she was living in Connecticut, and she and I dedicated ourselves to help her mother during hospice care. And the cat kept running in the room and sitting underneath the hospice bed. And, a few hours before her mom was condition was changing, the cat left the room. And that's when the family knew that it was probably coming closer to that time. And another wonderful story about how intuitive cats are is my cousin Tommy. He was a patient at the New Jersey VA, and he was going back and forth and getting radiation treatment. And he would come home and lay on his couch, and he'd call me on the phone. And one day he called me on the phone and said, "I can't believe it," because I thought it was just, like a fluke, he said. But every time I lay on the couch with the radiation, the cat climbs up and moves right on where they give me radiation. And that was like one of my last brief conversations with him, because he was so excuse me and said, "Oh, okay, what do you see now, Pat?" He was like a healthy skeptic, So cats really are very intuitive. There's a lot of cats, as you know, with,
That's a TV of itself.
they can, I know, they're amazing. And my cat is very amazing. So I wanted to incorporate them on this particular cover. The cover is a artwork was done by Gugino, and he's actually a very well-known artist in the music business. He designed a lot of work from the Palestine Paul Paul McCartney business. And he asked me, "What do you want for your cover?" And I said, "Well, I would like to be dancing with a cat." And then he said, "What do you want for the cat?"
The back is weird.
Did you see the back? It's amazing.
It's got an eyeball floating around.
Yeah, I know. So I said, everything that I've done in my life that I would do would come out of my mouth like whispering in a cloud. And it is satisfied, and the company and writing books and the intuitive eye. And even the military, there's a soldier who's actually in the life.
With a dog cat floating in the air.
Yeah, see? Yeah, every time you look at this, you see something even more.
With your name on the dog cat.
Yeah, so much detail. I know. He took a lot of time on it. And
what is the other side? What do you convince?
so, for all my reading, and it's very interesting. I just did a live event recently with Dr. Nagel and another medium, Connie Fasula, from Carver Family. We did a live event in Florida. And I recently spoke about this because there's members in the audience that had asked the same question. And when we connect with evidence. So they explained, who they were, how their life was. We validated kind of their passion, and in sometimes remarkable detail. And a lot of it is giving messages about things that are happening now in current time. And that piece to me is so important as a medium because it relates the information that our loved ones are not around in an unknown space, but they still have vision on how our lives are going and how we're doing, and we know that we miss them. And so many messages come through with things that they wouldn't have known about, like a baby that's born that, when they passed, the couple wasn't pregnant yet, and big events that happen in the family, but also you'll be very participatory, and they'll say, "Someone said recently," or "That person passed before me," or "This person met me on the other side." And it's interesting when I relay the information to the families because they do validate that. Do say, my mom passed before my dad. They validated that too. So sometimes they'll give me like some clairvoyance. So it looks like they're speaking like a piece of gum and stretching it out for me. And it means that there's a long period of time between the mother and the father's passing. And for me, that's except there are more. And I did a reading about a week or two ago when that was actually stolen. And they validated that because it was actually like 15 years between the person's mother and father passing. And there's kind of details in a way, but it's also important because it lets span of time between the two parents passing. A lot happens in the family, or it seems it happened in the family, that somehow impacted the person I was reading, life now.
After when we come back, I want to talk about your work at some paranormal houses, including the Lizzie Borden house. Remember that saying? Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. Once she saw what she had done, she gave her father 40 whacks. Feeling lost? Not close to your radio? Grab your smartphone or computer and listen to iHeartRadio. Pick up the free iHeartRadio app to the App Store or go to iHeartRadio.com.
I'm Bree Pettis in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Their Care Access, or Inside Safe program, has cleared 6 homeless encampments in L.A. She says in 2 months, the program has moved 247 people into temporary shelters. Police are looking for a group of thieves caught on camera ransacking several GameStop stores while they were open. They hit stores in East LA, San Pedro, Pasadena, El Monte, and Chino. GameStop is now offering a $5,000 reward for their capture. LeBron James is now the NBA's all-time scoring player, pushing aside Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record, which was set in '84. James is in his 20th season of the NBA. He's scored over 38,000 points in his career so far. Southside weather from KFI. We expect mostly sunny skies with highs today right around 70. Right now it's 50 in La Habra. Seal Beach reports 48. Malibu takes in at 54, and it's 40 in Rancho Cucamonga. We lead local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Bree Pettis.
In South Valley, there is a full freeway closure just on the 405 northbound from Griffith to Warner Avenue, Alden. Just down for road work until 5. South LA, we have 15. Earlier cracks on the 110 southbound before Century has been cleared from lanes. These items up the whole speeds in that area. Buena Park, there is a work zone just on the 5 northbound from Artesia Boulevard to Alondra. 2 left lanes are going to be shut down for road work until 5. Expect delays. KFI, the sky hopes to see you faster. I'll find it.
Okay, guys, Valentine's Day is coming up, and I'm going to tell you how to give the best gift ever. Flowers are great, but giving an experience is even better. So check out Rosetta Stone. A subscription to their Remember to Learn app is perfect if your partner loves to travel, or wants to connect better with a family member, or if you're looking for something the two of you can do together. Right now, get $120 off lifetime unlimited languages. You'll have access to all 25 of Rosetta Stone's languages for life at RosettaStone.com.
This is True Crime Podcast Paper Ghost is back with a brand new case. Season 3 gets deep into the 1992 cold case murder of Penny Josewicki, a New Jersey college student, and uncovers a murky police investigation, a pool of new suspects, and a community still desperate for answers 30 years later.
When supposed to be on campus, and she's not here, and people are starting to get worried.
Listen to Paper Ghost on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. KFI,
Where do you want to go to the Frank, where do you want to bring that water? No. Frank, it's more special apple. It's just the apple. They should make a TV show about you called the apple. Yes, right. You're a dad athletic. Damn.
Oh my God, that is a choice. That is a choice. Oh, well, they're drug addicted, so they kill people, but it's because of the drugs. No. Becoming a gang member is a choice. Staying in a gang is a choice. Stealing from your grandparents, all decisions. Nobody forced this guy to make all those decisions. Live 9 to 1 p.m. on KFI.
Remember when he used to pee in Tupperware? And just let it sit all day? Yo, dog. Yo.
I know if I had any inclination that my wife was poisoning me, I would just leave. Yeah. She's a monster human being anyway. This might just be sweet relief to move into an apartment somewhere.
Look at this.
1 p.m. on KFI.
This is athleticism.
KFI. More stimulating talk.
Yoshi. That's how it's fucking shit. They trust you, huh? Yoshi. 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 Yoshi.
You are the promises of friendship that make the world worth it.
Yoshi. Oh, fuck. Yoshi. 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 Oh, dude. How the fuck did it just fucking... How the fuck...
With all the things you are
You're listening to Coast AM with George Norrie. We'll take calls next hour with Catherine Nadell as we talk about the paranormal. George wants a question from you. This is what I got medium, baby. You know what direction we're going to take. 367 people shy at paranormaldate.com. We get 100. You know that big numbers there, and don't forget, they are big, right? And don't forget that Valentine's Day is coming up. So if you're looking for somebody a bit more mature, you might want to have dinner with, or meet, or talk to, or whatever, go to paranormaldays.com/Tuesday. These are people that think like you do, and they're 60 plus. And if you want to get a real kind of a view of what your dinner might be like with someone that thinks like you do, head over to coasttocoastam.com right now. We have a little video clip. So remember, it's paranormaldays.com/senior. At paranormaldays.com, you meet the most fantastic people. Hi, I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. What do you do here?
Yeah, I'm getting some of your understanding.
How so?
Well, I'm into UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot, conspiracy theories, and the paranormal. It's that kind of stuff. But you seem to find anyone
Nice to meet you, Tom. I gotta go.
Okay, guess that's not your cup of tea. You sure?
Very. Good luck with that.
Anyone with a house, good can find a website for my unique business. What is one of you? Have you thought about paranormaldate.com? So, what the what? Who are you? I'm a paranormal matchmaker, and it's paranormaldate.com. It's a website for people looking for people like them. Stuff you like, remember? I'll give it a try. Well, let's try this again. Hi, I'm Tom.
Hey, I'm Deb. Your profile on paranormaldays.com looks very interesting. So you really saw a UFO?
Well, yeah. It was so intense. But not as intense as me and you.
An alien taking for it, but I kind of like it.
Wow, this paranormaldate.com thing really works. Maybe paranormaldate.com is for you. People with an interest in things they hear at George's show find their match daily. So if you're looking for that special someone with an interest in UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot, conspiracy theories, and of course the paranormal, come to the dating site and find like George Norrie, it's always free to search. And if you decide to upgrade to our amazing new features, use promo code GEORGE for a great discount. ParanormalDate.com. You are not alone. Isn't that a great question? Have you ever wondered if we are alone in this vast universe? Well, Marvelous Entertainment wonders that. They've released the newest in science fiction that specifically deals with that incredible question. Marvin Sunderland is a certified film director, web developer, too, an Army veteran as well, and he is the author behind the series of sci-fi novels that includes a 7-novel masterpiece, bringing out the incredibly best of your imagination. Journey with his book champion, Sergeant Waggett, in search of a cracked alien spaceship, and once he discovers it, he finds out there's an alien invasion underway. So brace yourself, because there's a war underway in the underworld. Get 20% off the entire 7-novel series and all future graphic novels by entering coupon code Coast to Coast, all lowercase, at marvelous.com. That's marvelous.com. MARVALEOUS.com.
Tired of overpaying for your cell phone bill? Switch to Consumer Cellular and save up to half on your wireless plan. Their award-winning 100% US-based customer support team makes switching easy. Plus, you can keep your phone and number with no contract or activation fees. They offer unlimited talk and text with a flexible data plan starting at just $20 a month. You can easily add your family and friends to your plan for just $15 a month per line. Never worry about cross calls. Consumer Cellular has the exact same coverage as the major carriers to over 99% of the nation. This is all backed by their 100% risk-free guarantee, join millions of others who have switched. Go to consumercellular.com/radio25 and for a limited time, get $25 off when you use promo code radio25. That's consumercellular.com/radio25. Promo code radio25.
And welcome back to Coast, George Norrie, Captain Mayville. Captain, you get asked to visit certain paranormal spots, don't you?
I do. Yeah.
Why?
Why? Some people actually know me. So people in New York City know me, and people in upstate New York know me. And it's interesting because there's a few, I started doing paranormal stuff at the Camp, which is a rock and roll club in Poughkeepsie, and it's been around probably for 30 or 40 years. And they were filming a reality TV show called Between a Rock and a Hard Place. And the first part of the reality show was the club, fans coming and staff and, fights that would break out or whatever, just part of the whole reality part of it. But they had a TV producer by the name of Daniel Bushey, and he asked for a psychic medium to come to the camp and to do the second part of it was that it's haunted. So I went down to the basement and they started rolling the film. And Dan Bushy still has all this film, but we went to the basement and I started saying things and they gave me one of their bouncers to kind of escort around. And I said, that brick wall, there's a wall behind that wall. And they said, what does that mean? And I said, there's a wall behind that wall. And they said, what is that? I said, like a portal, like there's a wall behind that wall. And the bouncer said, I believe her. And he went out of the room and came back in and had like a tool, a bigger tool, and he took a sledgehammer and everyone cleared out of the way. And he literally broke some of the bricks away. And there's the wall behind the wall, exactly like I said. And they were like astonished and the filming and all this stuff. And then they had to tell Frank, the owner, and he was like, oh my God, the wall. But Frank and Dan went down to City Hall and they got the blueprint and they messed it up. But many, many years ago, they used to do like a mental health facility down the road. and there was like a tunnel that connected the back of the tent. And that was all filmed. And then they said we were going to go to Tribeca Film Festival, which we did. And then we walked again to cooking show. So we never did really get, the reality TV show. But from that, there's been many other paranormal groups that go to the camp. And, they spend the night and they film and they have the devices. And I've also gone to the Iron Island Museum in Buffalo. I actually contacted them on my own and said to the staff there, Linda, the owner, let me just come and walk through on my own. And she said, well, if you're here by yourself, I'll walk through with you. And when I got there, I said, I'm the psychic medium, can I give you information and you could just validate it if I'm correct or not. And I did that with her. And she had her mom there, and she had a couple of the girls that are usually at the museum with her. And they were really surprised because there's people that come in and out of that place. And I had said stuff that groups over the years have said. And then I said, do you want a reading? And I gave her a personal reading and connected with the other side. And she said, can you come back here every year and work with our Buffalo Paranormal Investigator group? Tried to get the lead of that. So over the years, I've worked with them numerous times. And most recently, I worked with Chance Kelly, who's a well-known actor. He was in the movie American Sniper. And he's been doing a podcast called The Island. And he's a historian, and he's describing the history of Manhattan as an island. And by chance, he thought he could look at some historical places in Westchester. And he picked Thomas Paine House, and his buddy from college is doing Sturgis, who's a well-known guy in the paranormal field. And he said, I need a psychic medium, and Dan contacted me because I did a merchant house with him in New York City many years ago. And I went there to the house, and they were filming, we were outside, and they have it on YouTube. And it's pretty amazing when you see how he had to put it together, because I was turning around and I was saying, they're telling me to turn around, and they're telling me, and for someone who's not around a lot of paranormal people, she was so surprised. And then in the middle of walking inside the house, I turned to him and said, I have a message for you, the man that's holding the camera, and it brought through his mom. And with such detail, I mean, you have to see it on the YouTube. It's on YouTube, but he really, when he talks about it, he just really incredible detail about his mom. And apparently his mom grew up very close to the Thomas Paine house. So when you hear how Stan kind of explains all the pieces and how she could see that I would be picking up on her because she was connected with the house in some way because she grew up in the area. So, I mean,
how about the Lizzie Borden house back in Massachusetts? You were asked to come out there about 10 years ago, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, Lizzie Borden, yes. This is an independent paranormal investigator that had reached out to me through Dan Beachy's circles, and he asked me to do Lizzie Borden. And he had done Lizzie Borden before with another group of people. So, and the staff said, well, we can ask the overnight guest, you can stay overnight there. And if they're interested in attending your seance, and they all were. And there was an older man and his son, who was an older teen, and a couple of couples. And they held the seance, and we kind of oriented them to how to do the seance and how the devices are. So a lot of it was teaching, for them because they hadn't seen stuff like that before. And then we give them the opportunity to ask questions. And then as a medium, I was connecting with spirits. So the paranormal investigator was asking a question, and then he would ask me, do you feel spirit? Who is here? And follow-up questions to that spirit. I kept getting a very young girl, And a lot of the information that I had, the staff member validated the next day that a lot of people that have gone through in the paranormal field have said very similar things, but they pick up Lizzie as a very little girl. It's when she's young. And there was no women, and there was a lot of things that I wasn't sure what I was getting. I don't really know the history, but the staff member, and that's why these places, the historical places, are so important, is to be connected to the people and validate the information after your seance or after your investigation to make sure that that information that you got, you can validate in some sort. And the most interesting thing of the whole night for me was that at the end of it, everybody seemed okay, but the man and his older team, they came to me and they said, we're free to go to sleep now. This really kind of freaked us out. And I said, can I go in your room? And they said, yeah. And I said, your room feels fine to me. And they still didn't really feel convinced by that. So I said, take your shoes and cross your shoes, one shoe over the other. So they demonstrated it. And I said, yeah, now leave that. So when you go into bed, you'll just sleep and your shoes will be crossed. And they said, what does that mean? And I said, well, there's a folklore that, spirits don't cross over the crossed shoes, to scare you. And they did it. And in the morning, they had like a whole breakfast thing. And the father grabbed my arm and he said, we never slept so well. Thank you for that, So either they believed it or they didn't, but they were able to sleep that night with their, sneakers crossed over each other.
Catherine, do you come across evil on any of your travels?
To be honest, George, I have to say that I understand what evil is and I felt it. Working in a combat zone, I was very sensitive to certain areas that I went to, that I physically feel things that don't feel right to me. I get a very strange feeling in my stomach, I get a very strange feeling in my feet. So I have been places where I don't have validated proof that something bad happened there, but my physical body feels that something bad happened there. And I can say that I was in Iraq for sure, and I felt that more than once. And in current, in daily life, I have met people, human beings, that have done some very bad things. And there's actually like a field of energy around them. And sometimes you're in a crowd. I mean, I go down to Manhattan all the time. You could be in Times Square.
They're no longer together?
Someone like me, I could feel when someone is not a good person. And it's hard to explain to someone that's never felt that, but it's a clear knowing. It's a person either has done something bad or has bad intention. And in paranormal experiences, I feel in places where something really bad happens, and a lot of times it's mixed with other things. So at the end, I was at the bottom of the basement, and I went right to the corner of this room, and I was going on and on and on about a fire. And some of the people there didn't know what I was talking about, but some of the people there did know what I was talking about. And many, many years before they had had a destructive fire, and it was in that corner of the building that I was referencing, and Dan Bootsy validated that for me. So sometimes when I pick up a very bad feeling, it's bad because of elements that have been involved, like either destruction, if it was a disaster that occurred there, or if it was like a fire where lives could have been taken. It's kind of a mixed feeling for me. I don't know if that's clear. Does that make sense, George?
Yes, have you ever been scared?
Yes. Yes.
Even you?
I did on a paranormal investigation because of the feeling. But I also, even when I'm preparing, to do something in a room, or if I go in and I'm doing a demonstration, spirit can kind of like touch my hair. I could feel someone's hand on my shoulder, or I could feel like someone kind of brushing my hair.
Like a breeze or something?
Happens in a reading.
Does it feel like a breeze?
Yeah, the breeze. Yeah. It's interesting because sometimes the breeze is cold. Sometimes the breeze feels warm. And it's the warm breeze feels because it's coming with a different emotion tied to it. So it's not so scary. But the scary stuff has happened a few times on investigation. So, and I've been with other people, that I say, did you hear that or did you feel that? And they did. Not everyone on an investigation. And if you watch the Thomas Paine video, and that's why it's so important, there was a sound that happened in the beginning of that video, and I heard it, and another person heard it, but Dan didn't hear it and whatever, and it was just kind of interesting because you could hear it. It sounds like a Civil War drum, like one of those marching drums. And it's so distinctive, but on the tape you can hear, you can hear me say, did you hear that? And then people are validating if they heard things or not.
We're going to come back in a moment and take calls with Catherine Nadell. She needs just a general question. Can it be on anything, Catherine?
No, I don't need anything.
No. The question, can it be anything?
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, I don't predict that. I absolutely do not predict that. And I don't do a lot of medical stuff, only for the fact that I'm a registered nurse in more than one state. But if I'm connecting with spirit, I will explain if they show me how their passing was.
So if it's a move or have a relationship or something, maybe you can go through all this. What is your specialty? Is that going to have any of these?
My specialty?
What are you good at?
I don't know. I mean, the feedback is both. I actually offer a combination even for people that don't know what they want. Some people might have one or two questions about their career, but they really miss, their parents or something. So I do a combination reading. So I do a little bit of both. I really enjoy talking about people's futures, but I also melodies their past because it's important because when you do a psychic reading, if someone asks you a question about their future, if you go back and talk about something that already happened and you validate that, then they will believe in what the future stuff that it will come true or could come true because you've already validated something about their life that you may not have already known.
I've got your website is dreamcentralstation.com. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, and a couple of the books include Seeing More Than Clouds in Your Coffee. That came out about 2012. And then Danced by the Light of the Moon. How did you get that title?
It's interesting because I had a pillow, and the pillow was of a witch on a Halloween theme with cats dancing. And I said, I love this pillow, but I really would like it in a frame. So one of my friends cut the pillow and she framed it for me. And I had it in my office, during my meetings and stuff. And I would look up and just look at that, how cleverly she took the pillow and made it a frame. And then when I was talking to Tony, and I said, I'd like this cover to be done to match somewhat of what the pillow looks like. And he said, well, what does the frame look like? And I sent it to him. And the title of the pillow says, And They Danced by the Light of the Moon.
Which is the name of a great song, too. But we're going to come back and take readings with you next. Feeling lost? Not by your radio? Grab your smartphone or computer and listen to iHeartRadio. Pick up the free iHeartRadio app in the App Store or go to iHeartRadio.com.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target than anywhere else. And we can give you access to those potential customers more cost effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia
phone call. Do not talk to the person. Never get out your Medicare number. They're going to get your number for a false claim.
Just hang up.
You can check Medicare fraud. Just like I check my credit card statement.
Call the senior Medicare control.
To report Medicare fraud, call 855-613-7080.
From 1909 to 1979, state-run hospitals in California performed thousands of sterilization procedures as part of the James law. And in 1979, this practice continued in 1968. If you were left unable to have biological children after surgery while living in a state-run facility or while in custody of a California prison, you may be entitled to compensation. For a confidential application, call 1-800-777-9239. Deadline to apply is December 31st, 2022.
Live from Radio Row, it's Super Bowl week, and there's no better way to stay up to speed than with the Around the NFL podcast. Join me, Dan Hampton, Ed Buck, Mark Steffler, and Greg Rosenthal for the latest football news with Justice Dr. Murray. We've got the #1 football podcast in the world, and Rihanna is playing the Apple Music halftime show. It's going to get much better than that guy. Hang out with us live from Glendale, Arizona, all week long. Listen to Around the NFL on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast. What the hell is going on? Well, we're about to tell you in their mind. Los Angeles, Orange County. Well, halfway to the weekend already. Here's Jennifer Jones-Lee with your Wednesday morning wake-up call.
It was a night at 14. LeBron James broke the NBA all-time points record. And I don't know if you saw this, but remember Peter Inadio, who we had on yesterday, Talk Sports Betting? He texted me a clip last night of LeBron James saying to his son,
Want me to get it here?
or like, I got it on my business. It was like they were ordering a pepperoni pizza.
No one has to get cheese on it.
No,
Unbelievable.
it was such a cool moment. LeBron and his kids are never going to forget that moment. I mean, even cry. Come on now. Teenagers doesn't cry very often, and this brought me to tears, so you know how important this was. Welcome to your wake-up call for a Wednesday, February 8th. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee. I wanted to start with the good news because, oh, God, you know, they're talking about how you can't wrap your head around a number like 11,000. Imagine 11,000 people. That is the death toll now following that 7.9 earthquake in Turkey. You got 30 countries supplying aid, but I mean, it really is great that I'm saying that. If you watched the President's State of the Union speech last night, just like we assumed he would celebrate some of his accomplishments, but I saw one headline where it said the President was even after Republicans, and then, oh, holy cannoli. Yeah, the Republicans going after him from the, gallery. Somebody got a liar. It was enough. Plus, we'll talk about Sarah Huckabee Sanders and her response to it. For the Republican response, so let's start with some of these stories coming out of the KFI. 24-hour newsroom. I want to start on the positive note. The NBA all-time points record has been broken.
One-on-one against Kendall Jordan. Cracking him. Turn. Shoot.
That play called on ESPN. LeBron James claimed the record last night, breaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time NBA scoring record, held since 1984.
We're never, ever in a million years since it's even better than what it is tonight. So,
Yeah. James entered the game with 38,352 points. He made it 36 to overtake Abdul-Jabbar. He finished the night at Crypto.com Arena with 38 points, but the Lakers still lost to OKC, 133 to 130. President Biden is taking some shots at Republicans during his State of the Union speech. Biden criticized Republicans last night for not raising the country's debt ceiling without conditions.
some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it. Unless I agree to the economic plan.
Biden said those plans include cutting Medicare and Social Security.
I'm not saying it's better.
called ViralRabbi. He also spoke about changing the tax system so corporations pay 4 times the tax on stock buybacks. The Republican response to the president's speech was given by Arkansas Governor Huckabee Sanders. Now, she said last night she didn't believe a single word of Biden's speech. She says he's been taken over by the radical left and will continue to destroy the country if left unchecked. A new generation of Republican leaders are stepping up, not to be caretakers of the status quo, but to be change makers for the American people. Sanders says the Republican Party is about freedom and family, while the Democratic Party is about hate and waste. And I'll talk about one of our local heroes who was in the gallery last night, who was recognized as well in just a couple of minutes. Nearly 30 countries are supplying Turkey with aid as the death toll grows to more than 11,000 after that massive earthquake. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said yesterday the U.S. helicopters had been sent as part of its response effort.
We deployed now more than 150 Turkish and Mexican personnel to Turkey. USAID, the international development, is in the lead of our efforts.
Assistance is also being provided to Syrian rescue efforts through international aid organizations. Ukraine and Russia are also among the other countries that pledged to send rescuers and other aid. We're going to get into the latest on the rescue efforts in Turkey and Syria. And also, I want to ask Tom Rivers, who's joining us next. Have there been any of those miracles, those so-called miracle recoveries? Because I think those are what will keep hope alive for a lot of people, and not just people in that region, but people all over the world who are sending money and prayers and anything that they can do just to even bolster the spirit or the hope of the people who are there. So we'll talk more about that with Tom in just a couple of minutes. Let's talk about your drive. Good morning, Natalia.
Good morning, Tyler. We're still north, so I think South Coast Drive is folks connecting right through the south line. Nothing too lanes are going down for the moment. It looks like there are issues in East LA. I can make a comment though on the northbound side on the 710 approach from the 605. It looks like a couple of cars got into it, and with the left lane of the transition road on the 710 north side, this is 60. That is off limits. Looks like it's going to be for the 60 westbound, and so you're seeing a slow going drive. 17 northbound on the 5 is Midway for the 60. Really, that's about it. Maybe plan for a lane to get that from the state alternate coming off the 5 is Midway for the 60. That'll definitely help you get you between the two freeways and get you there a little bit at this point. You don't get 60 westbound and get reconnected with the traffic, and that's what they're pretty easy for you to drive. Then that's it on this issue or anything that's slowing you down. Time to put your cell phone. Keyword is by traffic. That's my captain shoe dropping us up from the overnight and early morning. That's through the South LA area. Then it's between Boston and the 10 Santa Monica Freeway. Not too bad for your traffic. A little bit of a slowdown. If I'm in the side, I'll get there faster. I'm Natalia Steve. 506 on your wake-up call. Tom Rivers, welcome back to the show. So let's talk about the rescue efforts that are taking place right now in Turkey and Syria after that 7.8 magnitude quake on Monday. And the latest I saw, which literally was jaw-dropping to me, 11,000 people now, the death toll after this quake.
11,000. We've got some crews too in a different part of Turkey, northwest, and the upper to an IC with cranes and heavy equipment. In certain parts of Turkey, they have nothing to work with. So these are the critical hours, the critical days, and it becomes diminishing returns with each of every hour. And that is simply the stark reality there. And more and more teams, by our count, probably a little bit more now, 70 countries sending teams in, EU as well, 14 international organizations sending teams there. U.S. sends 2 teams, one, as you well know, from LA, one from Virginia. The European Union, 19 countries are sending 1,150 rescuers. So yes, the efforts are being applied right now, because tomorrow may be too late.
Yeah, it really is. I have to say about the race against time. Because there's only so much there, there's only so much time that somebody can be stopped. In what used to be their home, which is just the craziest part of it. I think that, you go to sleep at night and you say, okay, I'm going to wake up in the morning. For these people, a lot of them either didn't wake up the next morning, or they woke up there in Syria yesterday. And do you have any more on her story?
Oh, thank you. He was my favorite of the heat. I got
I'm not sure they
down
down to the minute timetable, but the mother died. But the new born survived it. Unbelievable. What a way to come into this world. Unbelievable. And I understand that like umbilical cord was still attached to the mom, and you're right, I don't know exactly that down to the minute, but I mean, the thing that I think is important about focusing on some of those sort of miracle rescues is to keep, I know that people alive is another thing, but you've got to do it in these cases. Yeah, very much so, very much so. And again, the teams that are coming in are very, very highly skilled. They know what they're doing. And they come to us, like I say, from variety of companies and organizations. And literally, it's the Turkish emergency personnel saying, okay, this is your sector. This is your sector over here. And the crews from getting them out to various locations as quickly as possible. But he says to get those, those amazing stories for right here, right now. But longer term, we heard from the Turkish president, a 3-month state of emergency, because there's going to be one heck of a battle going forward when the initial flush of this story goes away. And as you know, at least 6,000 buildings have collapsed on the Turkish side alone. It's going to be, years and years and years to recover. Absolutely. Tom, thank you so much for your time this morning. All right, thank you too. See you later. Thanks, ABC Tom Rivers. And I don't know if you've seen, well, obviously you've seen this Monday, the pictures of some of these little provinces that they have in Turkey, where it's like a giant. You could walk through. You know, that you would see in a movie. You just walk through.
I mean, we weren't really that serious about it. We just kind of testing the water. But here you are, cutting off your dick with head clippers.
Some are left-handed. Because maybe that wasn't in his hat. But everything is it's somehow hacked out or knocked off the foundation or crushed or whatever. It's hard to even know where these rescue crews from places away are going to start. We're taking cadaver dog teams in. We're taking structural engineers in. It's like a game where they're going to have to figure out, okay, we can pull this piece out, but we got to make sure if we pull this piece out that more of the building doesn't collapse on the people who still might be inside, so we still may be able to rescue. I can imagine. Well, Brandon Shea, the man who wrestled the gun away from the Monterey Park mass shooter, was recognized by President Biden last night during the State of the Union address.
He thought he was going to die. He thought about the people inside. In that instant, he found courage to act. He wrestled a semi-automatic pistol away from the gunman with already killed 11 people in another dance video.
And that is obviously President Biden, who said that this is true, they got a rare bipartisan ovation. Biden used the moment to call for reinstating the ban on assault weapons. The president drenched the nonprofit NOC with millions of dollars to pay off the water bills, but families must tap into the funds first before it's shut off.
We want to put that $4 million back into the community.
Community Action Partnership of OC President Gregory Scott says the problem is not enough people are lining up to take advantage of the first of its kind low-income household water assistance program.
$1,000,000.
He says if the funding is not applied for by August 31st, the money will be returned to the Fed.
If the water bills will pass through, point executives who are disconnected, they have opportunity to tap into this fund.
People can apply at TAP OC. One thing card they say if I